welcome to Enlightened World Network. Dr. Ruth Anderson here for a meditation a day. Today, our special guest meditator, Dr. Phillip Mountrose. We're so pleased to have Phillip here. He and his wife, Jane, are quite an institution in spiritual awareness. They are co-authors of many books and have taught many, many classes and have a cohort of ministers who have come out through their training. So we're very pleased to have him here. And today's meditation is finding peace and balance in disruptive times. So please listen to this meditation and then hang on to the end, because here at Enlightened World Network, Spirit has asked us to check in with each of our meditators each time and figure out, listen to what their latest learnings from Spirit is. So we're shaking things up a little bit this year. So stay with us. Phillip, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Ruth, for having me. It's great to be with Enlightened World Network. And I think this will be a timely meditation and some key insights I'm about to share here with everyone, because probably most holistic-minded people have been pretty unsettled with what's going on in the United States and the world. It seems to be an exceptionally volatile time, a time of a lot of change and what to do with it. And it can be sort of volcanic, where things are just erupting and people are just finding themselves sort of beside themselves and maybe feeling powerless and lost and confused, which, I think at times maybe we all do. And there's some antidotes and practical remedies and perspectives I'm going to share today with us. And I'm going to draw from one of our oracle decks. In our courses, we like to use oracles as a metaphysical tool that we write about in our upcoming book, Awakening to Your Magnificence. It's one of the tools for transformation for the next new frontier for humanity. So I'm going to draw from that Sacred Destiny Oracle deck, and it's a specific card reading. It's a 4-card reading, 4 directions reading. So the directions are the directions of course, east, south, west, and north, and each direction is related to an element. So being in nature and elements is a key part of the solution also, by the way, going forward. And I also, as kind of an overlighting card, before I show you the cards from Sacred Destiny, I drew one from another deck, a tarot deck, the Light Seers, and this is the Page of Pentacles, who's sort of doing a magical dance there with a mandala of connecting with the earth and having earth wisdom and grounding things for what we're about to do. So I sort of see that as an overlighting spirit or energy for this reading and the meditation to follow here. So I'm going to show you the cards. I'm going to go to another camera here to show you the specific cards I pulled for the 4-card directional reading. And again, the focus is finding peace and balance in disrupting times, namely today. So there are the readings. Let me see if I can get it a little bit straighter. And I don't know if you can read the little tag words for each of them. Are they readable, Ruth? Okay. So in the East, that is a card that its message is change. East is what is it's change. It's what is dawning or emerging. That's coming from the east, sort of like in the morning when you look at the sunrise. And so that has to do with things are changing. And I'll just go over all the cards and then go into each of them as they kind of fit, because this is a story. And when you first see this, you'll probably get some ahas, some emotions, maybe even, some puzzles, and that's normal. And the east is the air element, by the way. So the south, the second one is this butterfly, kind of blue-yellow butterfly. Transformation is the key word from the south. The south is fire. It's expanding. So what's expanding now is transformation for us, having to do with rebirth, becoming new. Going to the west, there's a volcano, if you can see that. That's called, and it's potential. Your potential is coming up. This is kind of a story unfolding here, as I'll explain in a moment. And the west, by the way, is water. And that has to do with that integrating, purifying with the water, your potential. And going to the north, love. North is earth element, love. All around us, you are loved, you are loving, you are lovable, you're a sacred vessel of love. So that's what needs to be nurtured and repaired in this today's world, according to this reading. And I've found this very profound, and I want to just go a little bit into my notes, my meditative notes around this reading to give you some further clarity. Okay. Um, things are always changing, and there is much change afoot, and perhaps major changes in the country's lifestyle and way of being. It's affecting masses of people, all the change in the air. What used to work is now no longer working. And there are many factors at play like AI, social media, technology, along with climate change and new discoveries in science and medicine. And this creates change and tumult. But uh, all of this change and tumult really leads us inward, or really, I think, is recommended to lead us inward. It's almost more of a motivation to check what's going on inside of us instead of reacting to the outside changes. So it's wise to find the individual best way for you by going within, and we're going to be doing that in a moment too, to shine your light onto the world. So first you shine the light on yourself, what's going on, and that could be wrestling with some difficult feelings and beliefs, and letting those play out and maybe doing some healing. We like to do EFT tapping. We have many healing processes, and you may know some yourself. And the meditation itself we're about to do probably has a healing therapeutic element. Okay. Uh, and when you are going from a higher perspective within, you can kind of see the darkness and the light, where the world is out of alignment and out of balance. And if you identify with that, then you become out of balance. Where the world is at conflict, at war, then if you identify with that, you become at conflict, at war. So the idea is to transcend the conflicts, the divisions, the polarities. And it's the phrase we like to use sometimes is to be above the fray and in the flow, or in the flow and above the fray. So that was just a little capsule for that first element, the change element from the east, from the air. And then going on to the south, what's rising up, the fire. So each person individually can look within and grow. This is that fire for transformation. So it's sort of a pressure on us, and the pressure we can sometimes, we may have bursts of anger and tears. That's okay. That's good to process, and it may be things that have been repressed for a while coming to the surface. And the idea is you can take the old earthbound sluggish parts of you and go within, maybe do some reflection, do some healing, coming out, looking at the world at a much better place because you're not attached anymore. You're not reacting. In other words, you're transforming like this butterfly with the beautiful blue color that signifies peace in the card. Going on to the water element in the west, your potential, and there's a volcano here, and it may come up volcanically, what you could possibly achieve or experience or do. And it may come up gradually too. It may just kind of bubble up. In other words, these conflicts are calling on us to harness our own gifts and talents to use for the help, not to react, not to feel we're hopeless, not to put our head in the sand, but to say, hey, we can each be sort of warriors of the light and use our potential to help others. And that really has helped me. One of the lessons learning we're going to talk about at the end, Ruth mentioned, is, we can each be a light to help others, and that can be motivational so we don't get lost in ourselves. So finally, it all comes back to love again, of course. The card from the north, all is love. You are lovable. You are a vessel of love. We're talking about giving, receiving, cherishing, appreciating, respecting. So that's all part of love, isn't it? Coming from that place and transmitting it out through all the change and fear and separation that we're facing in the world to make it a more loving place. And it may seem like mission impossible at times, but just remember in the Renaissance, it's reputed that about 10% of the people were really involved in the Renaissance during that period in the 14, 15, early 1600s that created the tremendous change that we still see today in architecture and art. So a small number of people can make a change in case you feel like the numbers are overwhelming or mission impossible here. Okay. So that was the reading, just the general reading, and I want to translate this into a meditative experience. Um, did you want to say anything? Did you want to mention anything at this point, Ruth?
Well, I'm just so glad we're doing this meditation today because I have been seeing folks around me anxious and not being able to get their footing. And I know that we are impacted by other folks around us. And so I just think there's a lot of folks right now that are not feeling particularly grounded. And I think they're dealing with stuff maybe they've been holding on to for some time. And all of this change, I think, is bringing stuff up where
Yep.
folks are having to deal with stuff. Not a bad thing, but it's interesting to watch.
Right, right. And one of the lessons for us is this is pushing us, Jane and myself here at Awakenings Institute, our nonprofit organization, to higher levels, because in a way, comfort and security, although nice, and we want a certain amount of that for stability, uh, can can sort of let you just coast a little bit and not push you to greater lengths and more explorations. And we're finding a lot of new insights and creativity, and we're coming out with a new book this year on awakening to your magnificence as a result of it too.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
So, shall we venture into a meditative experience?
Yes, please.
Okay. So you can relax and just breathe and let your body become more and more relaxed like you have so many times before. And as you do every night when you rest. And this what time you're going to rest, but be alert. You're going to be fully relaxed and in a beautiful, receptive place to find more peace and balance in your life and help others as well. And when you breathe, each breath helps your body let go of anything you no longer need, anything you've picked up along the way. And you exhale, release, let it all go. And I'll count down from 5 to 1, and that will be a signal for us to become more and more relaxed with each number. 5, getting more relaxed. 4, letting go even more. 3, more and more relaxed. 2, breathing wonderfully, easily. 1, letting go of anything else as you begin and commence a journey. And on this wonderful journey, you set out toward the east. In the east, you have the air and the wind behind your back gently as you move forward, knowing that there's sort of a change in the air. And you're seeing that you are changing directions. And it's different from the direction maybe you thought you were going or had been going, but this is a new direction for you. And there's new scenery. And some of it might be a little challenging, some of the terrain. It might be a little rocky or hilly. There might be a few bursts of strong wind that come. And as you navigate and go through it, you're becoming a little more flexible, a little more intentional, adapting really well to these new surroundings, this new environment as you move forward eastward with the air supporting you, invigorating you, finding as you move step by step and direction by direction any kind of change. If you need to go a little bit more to one way or the other, you're able to do that, navigate like, wow, that path is looking actually the path I should be taking. And you just are open and exploratory while your feet are on the ground. And you feel the beauty of the air supporting you all around you. And as you continue on your path, you realize that there's another route that's going south. There's a lot of energy there, fiery energy taking you toward the south, and you move in a southern direction. And if you're not sure where that is, just trust that you can go there now. You're expanding. You feel this is an expansive route. Maybe the route is opening up and the view is becoming more. And you feel more and more transformed. This is a very different path. It's a beautiful path. And it's taking you in a whole new direction and a whole new way of feeling, almost as if you can fly, like you've become from earthbound to like a beautiful butterfly, beautifully, gracefully traversing the path you're on in the area. And things become very peaceful and very attuned for you in this beautiful, transformative way going south with that fiery passion and energy supporting you, life energy. And as you're going forward and having had these changes and transformation, you turn now to the west. Just sense where that is, or you know where that is. You shift direction again to the west as part of your journey here today. And that's the water element. And there may be some water along the way in your path. It may be a stream, a river, or even a larger body of water. And if you want, you may go in the water too. Take a swim or put your feet in it, or even dive into it if you feel like it going deep down. Or just recognize that that's there, that body of water that you're connected with. You're right nearby, or even within. And as you experience this water, you have more and more sense of a greater potential. There's a depth there. You can use your gifts. You have lots of gifts and strengths you've learned over the years and even lifetimes. And you may have forgotten some. You may have been using some, and now is the time to do so, to help you with the life changes, to use your transformation from your journey. And rising from the depths, more and more coming to the surface is this sense of potential, this great potential you have and the awareness it brings. You feel very grateful for that. Now shifting your direction one more time, going northward, sensing where that is. You're going there. And as you go north, things become very still. You're connected to the earth. You have the sense of the earth beneath your feet. And as you feel the earth, you know some things still need nurturing in yourself. Because if you're going to nurture and help the world, you need to repair and heal yourself in this quiet place on this path, connected so solidly with the earth. And it comes clear to you that it is love. It's love is what you need. And you have it because you are a lovable, loving person. You're a sacred vessel of love. And you may sense that as an image or a feeling or a color or a sound. You're feeling all the respect that you're giving and receiving, all the honor that you receive and give, protecting others and protecting yourself, feeling safe and helping others feel safe too. It's all very loving now as you take this direction northward. And as you're here, we can now bring in an extra resource to help us on this journey in the four directions of finding peace and balance in today's world right now. And I'm going to invite in Archangel Raguel. Raguel was very good for divine order and balance. Beautiful bluish color he comes in. However, you can sense him or see him. And I just sort of embody him and let him speak through me. And he says, yes, peace and balance is at hand if you intend it to be so. Part of your intent is where you start, and recognize that you've been peaceful and balanced before and you can do so again. And as you open your heart, the love comes in. And as the love comes in, you feel that. You feel that stronger and stronger, and it just irresistibly flows out of you to others. And you just bask in that for a moment. And when you do, you also know all those conflicts, all those areas where people are suffering that maybe you reacted to a little while ago, are something that you can be compassionate about and yet still transcend, so you can send the love into those areas, into those places that need so much the love and support that you can now offer in this moment and going forward. You indeed are creatures of love, because the creation is uh, essentially love itself. We all come from love, and we can forget that and cover that over with things that are unloving and separative and divisive. But that is the illusion, and we need to find ways like we are now to go through that. And you are doing a wonderful job on your journey today doing so. With much love, Raquel. Thank you, Raquel. Taking in that message and energy of Archangel Raquel, realizing we've had a wonderful journey going from the east with change, shifting to the south with transformation, the west embracing our potential, and then the love in the north with those elements of air, fire, water, and earth, all combined, integrated beautifully for our journey today. And we can be a little more peaceful, a little more balanced as we're ready to come back to take this into our everyday life. Coming back on 5, 1, 2, ready to come back, 3, 4, and 5, opening your eyes back, more peaceful, more balanced, using the elements, the air, the earth, the fire, the water to help us with all the love we need today.
Thank you, Philip. I've got a question. How do you spell that archangel's name?
Raguel, Raguel, Raguel.
Okay,
It's an unusual. All the archangels seem to have, I think, an EL, which is from God of God. They often end that way.
I'm not familiar with that
Yeah,
archangel.
yeah, that one came to us from, and when we teach oracles, we use one of the decks as uh, an angel wisdom deck with Rodley Valentine, which connects with about, I think it's 15 archangels. He's one of them, and he associates it with different cards in the major arcana in the tarot.
Well, there was a beautiful reading. There was a beautiful channeling.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for that. And when you said blue, it was like, yeah, I see the blue.
Yeah, it was very blue, very peaceful,
It was very blue.
and the water. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, something else that I wanted to point out, going east, yep, I could feel it. Going south, it was expansive. I was totally on board with the expansive.
The
And then,
transformation.
yes, and then when we turned west, I think all of a sudden I go, I am walking uphill. And
Hmm.
then when I questioned, I'm walking uphill, I was walking upstairs. It was like, yes, pay attention to this. It's not just,
Hmm.
it's stairs. And then when I got to the north, it was like I had gone up the stairs and I was looking down over the earth, and it was very calm. And it was a combination of all of the different
Hmm.
elements
Hmm.
together.
Hmm.
My brain was stuck on the wow, the potential part of going west. It was work
Yeah.
going
Some
up
of it may be a little bit of a challenge, but it's well worth the commitment.
right, but stepping into your potential.
Yeah. Harnessing your gifts and talents
Right, of course it's
more.
work. Yeah, of course
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. And there could be some, where where people have that feeling of resistance or challenge, that can be an area that might need more attention. We sometimes draw more oracle cards to get illumination. We do healing processes, coaching processes. That's it's like kind of finding, it might be a weak link or an area that needs more attention that you can bolster. So it's great that it reveals it to you so you're more aware.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. Thank you for this. So, Philip, as I said, Spirit has asked each of the hosts, each of the meditators to share. What
Mm-hmm.
what messages are you getting these days? What learning are they taking you through?
Well, part of it is in the challenge. I think it's forcing us to step up here at Awakenings Institute, um, because we can't really get comfortable with all the things being shuffled up and all the needs around the world. So it's instead of reacting, it's a way of, like you said, of activating your potential and harnessing your gifts, the things we have and the things we're developing. So it creates a little bit of an urgency without being in a rush mode, and also not in a panic mode, not reacting. So at the same time, we have a heightened motivation. We're also want to be very calm and peaceful. So when things happen that seem like, the world is falling or things are falling apart, that's not a time to react and go with that. There may be serious challenges, but rushing and hurrying and reacting, we're dis you for us, it's a discipline. You need to discipline yourself not to react.
It's interesting.
Pause and reflect.
Yeah, perfect. It's interesting because back in December, in meditation, I was shown that light workers were being called in ways that they haven't been called before. And
Hmm.
we're being called to come and help out and bring in the light and hold the calm and all of that. So thank you. We are being called, and you and Jane are being called. So absolutely. Yeah. And panicking doesn't help anyone.
No, no, take your time, figure out a way, find some resources, talk to people that support you, take some training that's going to, be the right one for you, connect, reach out. Don't go in your cave and retreat, because that kind of isolation is actually, even though a lot of times part of us instinctively wants to do that, that is often the worst thing we can do. We're often like our worst enemy at that point when we're all isolated and magnifying being a victim and helpless, instead of reaching out and feeling like we're the creators we truly are.
Well, and the importance of platforms like Enlightened World Network
Right.
or Awakenings Institute of giving light workers a place to connect in with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's very important, and more important, I think, in today's world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Philip, for that. What would you like folks to know about you and Jane and the work that you do?
I was thinking probably for people to connect, we have a lot of offerings, a lot of free articles and videos and trainings coming up. We have a holistic spiritual coaching and healing training. Maybe a good place to get started, I'll show them, is that we have a free resource kit that I think people would really enjoy. It's called a Light Resources toolkit here, and it has some of our uh, excerpt from a book we're writing, an Archangel checklist. If you want to know more about some more holistic EFT, one of our branded videos, our free newsletters. So that's something you get that at tinyurl.com/light-resources, tinyurl.com/light-resources for your free resource holistic kit.
Okay. And if folks want to go to
Hmm.
gettingthrough.org, they can just play around on your
Yeah,
website.
we have lots of resources, a lot of free things and trainings and things people might find very valuable.
Perfect.
Get a
Okay.
lot of support.
Philip, thank you for the commitment that you and Jane are making to Enlightened World Network. You're both coming on once a month, and it's important. It's important for me personally, and it's important for the work we're doing here at Enlightened World Network. So thank you for that commitment.
You bet. Our pleasure.
All right. Well, friends, we're going to say thank you to Philip. And friends, thank you for coming back. And 2025, it is a big year. There's a
It
lot
is.
going on this year. So take good care. God bless. We'll see you.